Hello, good morning, folks. We are continuing from yesterday's stream where we were looking into these commits messages, where were we, let's say, handling errors in here. We were actually looking into the React's official website, this one here. So we were in like handling errors, the next chapter that we need to do. But before that, I give in to my intuition that I should read this out first. And yesterday we were left off with here. So let's continue with this. Avoid redundant state. If you can calculate some information from the components groups or its existing state variables during rendered rendering, you should not put that information into that component state. For example, take this form. It works, but can you find any redundant state in it? I don't know. So we are using use state here. Export or a function, a form, first name, last name, and full name. Three use state. Handle first name change. Two. So here I am putting my element. First name, set first name to a target value, and full name will be a target value plus a last name. Function handle name change a target value. Let me wait. Open the console here as well. Okay, then do now handle last name change. Okay, so last name if I put KB, so the value that I'm entering here is rendered here as well. Handle, I think there must be something. Okay, full name something. So on change, value is first name. Handle first name change. Handle last name change. So in my full name function, uh, where is the full name? Will it be in last? Show more. Uh, I see. So in both the cases on the function, I'm setting the full name here as well. If anything is changing, then let's see this. So why don't I try this here as well? So let's rather than clearing everything, let's look into this and remove this. So now we have, let's say, what we want to do is we want to have two first name, last name, and here random. Okay, so let's do this. Const first, const first name, set first name. The initial value will be use state 0. Now I would like to have my last name. Now I will have my full name. Okay, so all I have to do is h1 welcome to store, in which I will have input button. Let's see, in input I am the value will be that of a first name, and on change I would like to have running some function, so in which I will have a function called function handle first name change, so in which I'm going to set first name to the element, or rather the props. No, I think the element. Why? Because this is what I'm dealing with. Mm, wait, what did I just do? Const first name. I will put the e dot target dot valid set full name to to combination of both, right? So 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 I will have e dot target uh valid plus one this one, and then I will have my last name. And with the same case, when I am editing my last name, I will have here last name. So here I will use my last name, your target, and my target value this time uh, will be first name plus empty brackets, and then this one. So on change, I will run the function called handle first name change. As you know that I'm not doing any kind of parenthesis after that, because I'm directly passing the function here. Then I will have another input called last name, and I will use handle last name change, and then I will have a p tag. So your full name is first name is your full name. Let's see if it's work or not. I have a feeling that I did something wrong here. Let's see. So first name will be this, and last name will be this. Uncaught input is a void element tag and must neither have children nor use it dangerously set in a HTML. So let's see here if I use, oh, okay, so initially I just need to use rather than zero empty. Okay, so here I put this, so I can even say add a bold tag. I don't know what tag used for highlighting. Let's search it through. B tag. So I can remove this from here. Okay, so just like that, if I use, let's say John Doe, so it is actually taking that first name, last name into account. We are setting initial state as an empty. Now in each for accessing the value of the input, I'm using e target dot value here, and when I change the first name, I would like to remain this last name is at is it the previous state which is empty. Okay, this looks good, and I understood quite well as well. Let's commit this out. The state the add dot let's say update app component add full name trigger. Okay, so this form has three state variables. Yep, first name, last name. However, full name is redundant. You can always calculate full name from first name and last name during render, so remove it from the state. I say so I can remove this. Let's see. All I have to do is assign a variable first name plus which I will have an empty array. Then I will have my last name. Then I will have this and see if anything breaking happens. So far, looks good. Let's see. There. Okay, so it's working. So in my full name variable, what I'm doing is assigning the initial value of first name and the initial value of last name between this having concatenating them. Okay, managing GST, GATO, GCI, let's say. So update app component, uh, string to state variables. Here, here full name is not state variable, instead it's calculated during render. Yes, because when I write something here, it will be calculated at the rendering time of this let's say p tag, because here I am directly using a full name, and full name is calculated here from the first name and last name. So as a result, the change handlers don't need to do anything special to update it. When you call set first name or set last name, you would trigger a re-render, and then the next full name will be calculated from the fresh data. Okay, don't mirror props instead. Deep dive. A common example of redundant state is code like this: message, message color, color, set color, use mirror. Okay, so what I'm doing is that I'm accessing message color props, and I'm using that as an initial value directly. Here a color state variable is initialized to the message color prop. Okay, I understand what does that mean. The problem is that if the parent component passes a different value of message color, later for example red instead of blue, the color state variable would not be updated. The state is only initialized during the first render. This is why mirroring some props in a state variable can lead to confusion. Instead, use the message color prop directly in your code. If you want to give it a shorter name, use a const color is equal to message color. This way it wouldn't get out of sync with the prop passed from the parent component. Mirroring props into state only makes sense when you want to ignore all updates for the specific prop. By convention, start the prop name with initial or default to clarify that its new value are ignored. Function message initial color. The color state variable holds the first value of. I ignored. Okay. Avoid duplication in state. This menu list component lets you choose a single travel snack out of several. So let's see if I choose this. If I choose this, so our initial item are this one. Avoid duplication in state. So I'm defining initial items as this titles and their IDs. Okay, so initial items I'm directly passing here. Mm, Then selected items. Click on this item. Start with um, zeroth index. I see. So the by default selected item will be pretzels. So let's see. Let's work on this. Looks good for change. Let's remove this. Now what I will do is create a variable object called initial values, and I will have one. Okay, so it is arrow object in which initial value have, let's say, percent with id is equal to 1. Now I will have two more. What are they? Crispy seaweed, crispy seaweed, and that value will be 2. I see, so they're starting from 0. So let's we also start from 0, 1, and this is 2. Granola. Now what's let's see if I put something like this. What's in your travel bag? Then I will have a map function. Okay, in my app, I'm using items and set items, use state to initial values, const selected item, set selected items, state. Let's say I would like to be an empty array. Uh, uh, so now I have to display the title and ID. Title, okay. So what I'm doing is I'm looping through these items since initial values are associated with items. So items dot map. Now I have to show each item. So let's start with this. I I list. So my key will be what uh items I dot id, and the mm, the what should it call, I dot title. Okay, so it's rendering perfectly. Now let's see. If we want to have uh, title is rendered, and now there is this empty string. Then I'm using button on click for selected items. So uh, this is happening inside an order list. So that is how they have done. Now there will be one empty array, and then I will have empty string. Then I will have one button tag in which on click what I want to is set selected items, and outside of that I will use is I would like to just display in my backpack I have selected item. Let's see. Um, so if I click on granola, okay, okay. So I'm not properly handling this set items here. When I click on the okay, items are here. Selected item that I want to display is here. Then where is I'm making mistakes? Selected items, passing the item. We'll have to like use selected item dot title. Is that it? Let's see. When I click on this button, nothing happened. So in selected item, if I pass those items, too many re-renders, React limits the number of renders to prevent an infinite loop. Okay, so I just have to pass only I. Let's see. Too many re-renders directly means infinite loop. So why it is re-rendering infinite time? Uh, let's see. So what I have that this initial value object of array, and I would like to loop through it, and for that I will have I'm setting useState initial value here as an initial value for the variable called items, and then I'm looping through items array. I'm accessing each object using I, and maintaining this here as I.id. Okay, okay. So here my I key will be I.id, I.title. On button I'm okay. So they have used this, but still I don't understand why it will be a case for infinite free rendering. Even if that were the case, let's see. Set selected items. I. Mm, so that it was actually the case. Hmm. Actually, I didn't really understand what happened just now. And why do I have to like use this? Let's ask ChatGPT about this. Mm, So this is my code. Where is ChatGPT? Here. So in this React code, uh, code in this line, let's copy this properly. Earlier, I was using something like on click set selected terms. So when I clicked on buttons to select, React gave me error saying too many renders in finite loop. So I don't actually understand that. Teach me. Good question. This is one of those small React things that actually reveals whether someone understands render versus event execution. Let's break it down like we would in a real debugging session. The core issue. So I wrote, yep, I just cool. I will execute that right now during render, which leads to runs immediately. So why this cause an infinite loop? Yeah. So React evaluates JSX. This calls the function immediately and set selected items, state updates, triggers re-render. Re-render happen, React runs the component again, hits again calls set state item, loop begins. Render set state, render state set. Too many renders. So you changed it to this. Now you are, hey React, here is a function. Call it later when the click happens. React stores it but does not execute it during render. But does not execute it during render. Mental model. This is cold. So do something means run it now. Executing during render. And if I pass as a function, then do something only when it's clicked, not on the initial. Okay, so I understood what was the problem. So basically, I passed a set selected item as it is on the on-click event for the button. So when React will execute the code, it will execute that function as well, and it will trigger re-render, and it will again check on click it, and again call the re-render. So it will be in a circular loop, like calling re-render again and again and again. So it will become as an infinite loop for this particular part. Now when I'm using as a function, so it will tell React to like, hey, on this button, on the on click event, I do have something to do, but do it only when it is clicked. Okay, so this is how I understood. Great, great. Shortcut, important cause. If you don't need arguments, you can do handle click. But if you need to pass arguments, you must wrap this, calling your friend and saying, come here right now, and come here when I press the button. One more subtle issue in your code is right now selected to you initialized in as an array, but using it like an object. This will break when nothing is selected. So why it will break? I don't think anything is breaking. Fix it properly, like null, and it rendered it safely. Selected about selected items dot title. So what it is telling me to is, uh, but in the course they were using this. So the initial value will always be selected at pretzel. Button Kishwid Granola. So if I don't want that, all I have to do is remove the use state to null, and here, okay, so this was a good exercise. I really like it. Mm, so what did I work on? Avoid duplication instead. Okay. Currently, it stores the selected item as an object in the selected item attribute. However, this is not. Why is the problem? Let's make age. No, currently it stores the selected item as an object in the selected item state variable. However, this is not great. The contents of the selected item is the same object as one of the items inside the items list. This means that the information about the item itself is duplicated into two places. Why is this a problem? Let's make each item editable. Mm, okay, let's see. I choose this and I click this. Then again, if I choose this, okay. Mm, 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 mm. So everything is there. What I'm doing is in my function in set items, I'm looking through all the items and comparing everything with the IDs and their titles. Mhm. Okay, please look into this. In my, so I haven't like created a function, so I guess that's hmm. So function handle item change. I'm going to pass ID and the element like title, in which I'm setting set items. So I'm copying the items array here and updating the title because that's what I want to use. So let's see. First, I update this, and here I will use const handle set item change. I'll pass to y because we are dealing with both. So in which I will have set item. Wait a minute. This is inside that function. Items dot map return else return item. Mhm, mhm. I still don't understand what exactly it is we trying to convey it here. I use this set items in that I will have an items list and I will do few things. Items dot map, that items if item dot id is equal to hmm, this is something I still don't understand why it will be the case. Let's remove this for a second and this one as well. So what I'm doing is rather than displaying title here, I'm using an input tag. In input tag I am on change. I will be using the handle set item change. Handle set item change. Then I will have uh, there is something, then do something. I would like to have this handle set item change. Mm, and the input. So if I use something like this, it should be triggered here. Let's make this set I. So mm, in my items array, what these are doing is that comparing the value of ID. If first ID is equal to ID, then return object the copy of value and title that is there or either changed. So comparing the value with ID, I see. So if item.id is equal to the this ID that is passed here, like on what changes I am making, then what I would like to do is return an object with the array that is passed and item.title item item.title to e dot target dot value title to I see. And if not, then I would like to return the item itself. Okay, let's see. But why it is still showing this? Because since I'm passing here item 0, now I will can pass as null, which shouldn't be showing anything. Professional title reading title. So if I pass an empty, I think it's looking good. If I use this one, okay, so it is not taking the actual value. So what I have to do is pass I here as well. Is that what it means? So if I click, which is really not good. So let's see, handle on change. That is what I would like to do. On change. I'm not passing the value. Shit. Why did I think? Because I just did in my previous what I want to do item dot title. Will it now work? It should be. So the initial is null or an empty. Wait, I just defined the empty array, right? Let's see if I pass this as a null. Now, what will be the case? Heading property. But then again, this will also gonna cause me an issue. Why? Granola is not letting me do anything. So, on change e handle item dot id. So in this, I will only passing the id. If I also pass the e, 40. If I class I here, then A, then I got A. Since I also want a value F, so if I choose granola and I'm still not able to edit anything. So item dot id, that is what I need to pass. What is currently passing here? So uh, 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 items dot map. So it will have title and ID. So and I need ID. So if I use this, if I click on granola and it is letting me, then I again choose it. Finally. So the mistake I was doing here on the handle setting item change is that first I forgot to pass the value, the title that is being displayed here. Suppose I forgot this, and when I reload this, so here the value is not shown, but if I click on choose, it will be selecting that value. So for showing purpose, I would like to pass the value and it will be showing. Okay, now in the on change, what even if something changes in the input tag, what I would like to do is call the handle set image change function later when something happen on that. I would like to have my ID and the target value that is changing. Why these two? Because of how our initial values array is defined. So in initial values, we have object of arrays with a title and ID. So in title, what we have is the name of the snack and ID of it. So in this, I'm passing the ID and the name of the snack. Now in my set item variable, I am mapping through each item and comparing the given props ID and the existing ID. If they both are same, like if I am updating the first ID snack's title and it exists in the items array, then what I would like to do is have the copy of items array and change only the target because that's what I am doing. This is something really interesting. Although I have to follow along with this, but I don't mind it. Notice how if you first click choose on an item and then edit, the input updates, but the label at the bottom does not reflect the edits. This is because you have duplicated state and you forgot to update set selected item. Although you could update selected item too. An easier fix is to remove duplication. In this example, instead of a selected item object, which creates a duplication with object inside items, you hold the selected ID in state and then get the selected item by searching the items array for an item within that ID. So what it's trying to say is if I click on this, it will be reflected directly here. So let's see first comment this out. Practicing. learn code. As I said, I'm not good with the commits. Let's say, what did they make uh, to be able to do this? If I'm selecting this and directly refining. So, mm, in my const selected items dot find, and this item dot id select id to state initial values, selected items. So if I have to change anything, so my selected item, mm, mm, okay. So what I did is selected item here. So most I'm setting the ID that is selected and updating as I go. Let's set selected ID and let's state in the button. Selected ID. Selected item. Let's see. Selected item is equal to find. In find method, I am finding every item that has item.id similar to my selected ID. So here, if I go with this, but when I click on anything, why this give me an error? So after clicking on the button set select ID and set selected ID, selected item, let's stay. So when I click on choose, and got type error at 38 line number 25 reading title 38. So and my 38 selected item dot title. Okay, so here what I have to render is ID title this. Something is still missing. Mm, mm, mm. So selected item dot title, selected item dot title, and in selected item only selected item is here. So where am I making mistakes? Mm, for example, if I click on this, it will be this granola bar. Currently, I click on granola, then sure it's giving me an error. Mm, see, I did exactly what they told me to do. It. In items, set items, selected ID, the use state is a 0. Then I'm having a variable called selected item. In selected items, in that I am finding the the selected ID. Then in my function handle item change, handle I set item change. Let's item change in which I'm passing ID in target value. Set items to items dot map item if item dot id is equal to id, then return item. Okay, what's map item and index? mm, Wait, what? Now I have to also pass index as well. Item and index. So the value is same. On change is same for handle item change. In button, everything is same. Then why pass an index if it's not used anywhere in the code block? Let's copy this and see in my code as well. Uh, so there is no need to pass an index, or does that mean passing an index will give me no? Um, items dot map item index. Uh, then I have item dot index as per this. Then in my input value, I am having this dot title, and on change handle item change I did. Then I'm having this empty string. Then I'm having a button. In button I have set selected ID. I'm passing an ID, which I'm clicking on that, and later I'm displaying the title of that value. Now let's move on to the function. In my function handle item change, I'm passing two arguments called id and e, which is target value. Now in that I'm using set items dot map item and comparing them with the current IDs. If they are true, then we are returning the copy of the item and the changed title, otherwise as it is item. And in the again a variable, I'm having const selected item dot find in item dot id to a selected id and selected id. Okay, so nothing is wrong, then it means the issue is generating from, and it is all saying from like 37. Here I'm only comparing ID, so set selected item. Can I console what is set selected item? I know you can console it. Set selected item. Let's see. Set selected item dot title. So when I click on it, why it is giving me an undefined? When exactly I click on it, it is telling me what it is. When I click on this, it goes undefined. Let's see if I update this whole, then what's the matter? Um, mm, mm. So when I reload this, I do have thread cells selected with ID and title. But when I click or update something, it is updating as well. But when I choose this, when clicking on button, okay, so I'm not understanding my code as well. So let's ask ChatGPT. So in this current code, when I click on button, then it's giving me this error. What is the name of the error? This one. And cart. Yes. The type error. And the console returns undefined. What's happening and how to resolve this? You are very close. This is one of those classic type mismatch bugs that bites everyone at least once. Let's debug it. So a type error. Mm, why didn't I think of any typings? This line is the culprit. In the button line, well, I'm sure it was giving error here, not here. And why this line is culprit? You are setting set selected ID to the given ID, but I is the entire object. So like I have to use this dot id. Is that what it means? So when I select this one, and when I select, oh, I see the type mismatch. all I have to do is try an error. But I want to like understand what happening in my current code. But the logic expects something else here. You are comparing IDs, which become 0 is equal to this. So that is always false. So find returns undefined. Then this crashes, becomes undefined or title. Boom. Cannot read properties of undefined. Simple fix is store ID. So I'm storing a primitive number, not an object. So always ensure consistency. What's in this too? So instead of storing ID and doing dot find every render, you could store the whole object. In use state, I'm using null, and then in my thing, process. Okay, so this is really something else entirely I didn't think of. And since the 1 hour is up, let's end this stream for today for this, and we will continue tomorrow for from this avoid deeply nested state. This is something really cool because I didn't understand what I was making mistake here, and I really enjoyed the coding, even though I'm just like copy pasting it. But yeah, I understood something really interesting. Let's see, the at RJCI dash M fix code issue. And okay, so thank you for joining with me, and let's see you on the next time.